Hi, Miss Lane. My name is Lawna Greene, and I appreciate the opportunity to video interview with you today. I have taught the last 14 years in upper elementary, fourth grade, mostly math, but also reading and ELA. The last 3 years, I have taught math at the high school level and am currently teaching at Weatherford College through Weatherford ISD's adult education program. I'm looking to make a change only because I have realized that I really do miss my fourth graders in that age group. I started out as a first grade teacher early in my career and took 14 years off to stay home with my girls. And as I said, I've been back in the classroom for 14 years now, teaching mostly math, as I said, but I am very passionate about teaching reading. I have a reading specialization and have taught, actually my last year that I taught in Dublin, I taught math and reading to help support and was a mentor teacher for our new reading teacher. So I took some of those students to kind of ease the burden on her. I am excited to think about teaching in Brock. I've heard a lot of good things about Brock. And also it would just afford me the opportunity to go back to where really my first love is with the younger groups. An ideal reading class. I am very passionate about reading and very passionate about teaching students that reading can be fun, enjoyable, it's a lifelong skill, and it does not have to be a chore. I'm a very strict but a fun teacher. You could talk to a lot of my former students and they would tell you that. If you want Miss Greene to be happy, just do what she asks you to do. We do have fun, and I am very much a growth-minded reading teacher and math teacher. Because I'm living proof of that. I was a horrific math student, and now my master's degree has a specialization in math. So if I can do it, they can also do it. I have some notes that I'm looking at just talking about talking about reading. A lesson cycle I really am not a basal reader user or a textbook necessarily. And I'm really not a huge teach skills in isolation fan, but I realize that is important sometimes. So really a lesson cycle would look like teaching many lessons on skills, and then we would talk about that every single day using mentor texts, using common passages with those skills in it. But then the majority of the class time would be spent in doing some guided reading, doing reading stations, where in those stations, one station they would meet with me. We would talk about we would do some spiraling activities where we talked about previously taught concepts. We would talk about vocabulary. We would discuss what they've read. I would do some comprehension checks. We would also discuss reading strategies. We would also talk about, their thoughts, bring in some higher order thinking questions, and have them explore deeper. while I'm meeting with students, the other students would be, I don't know if you're familiar with the Daily Five. I adapted that. It's mostly for math, but I adapted that for reading, and it was really more the Daily Three. But they would meet with me. I would have other students that met or that worked together on vocabulary and skills. And one would be working in a reading notebook where they were actually writing about their reading. They might spend some time reading. They might be with a partner and partner reading and discussing some specific questions dealing with that reading. I also like to have partner reading where they both read the same book, and then they have some discussions amongst themselves and with me about what they've read too, and have some good conversations about that. Those conversations bring in some of that higher order thinking, especially with each other. Sometimes they go deeper with each other than they do with me as their teacher. So there's some value in that peer tutoring. I want the class to be, while it's teacher-led, I want it to be student-led. I want them to have some autonomy, and but mostly, especially after raising a reluctant reader, I want them to be, I want their attitude towards reading to be a positive one, and not that it is a chore. And I want them to read because they want to read and because they love to read. So that is kind of it in a nutshell. I hope I answered all of your questions. I do look forward to hearing from you, and I appreciate, again, the time to do this interview for you. Thank you.